Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Watched. In this video we are going to talk about the brand new movie Joker, Folie, Deux, which is actually a sequel to the 2019 film of the same name, kind of Joker, which has Joaquin Phoenix reprising his role as Arthur Fleck, and of course with the new additions of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinzel. Well, in this movie she's really referred to as Lee, I believe it was Lee Quinzel, and of course Brendan Gleeson, who portrays a guard like a jail guard in the movie, and whose name is Jackie Jackie, and a few other great actors as well. Catherine Keener, who portrays a character known as Marianne, who I believe was actually Joker's representative or lawyer in the court case, and there was a few little tidbits of the Batman universe in here as well, such as Harry Latte, who portrayed, of course, Harvey Dent. And I was actually a little bit surprised by that, them using Harvey Dent to sort of be the opposition to the Joker, to Arthur Fleck, and his interpretation of the Joker. And, you know, he's the offense, he's sort of like the state or the people versus, Arthur Fleck. And so essentially this movie pretty well takes place pretty well right away after the first movie, after the events of Joker, and really, has Arthur having to deal with the consequences and the fallout of him murdering someone, literally like a famous superstar, basically, on live TV. And so essentially the whole story is that he's going to try to plead insanity, or at least that's what that's sort of what his representative is, his lawyer, that's what she wants him to do, to sort of play the insanity card. And then of course you have Harley Quinn, who's sort of the opposite. So it's almost like having an angel and a devil on your shoulder. One is telling him to plead insanity. The other one is like saying, no, you're not insane. You should play into the insanity. One is saying plead insanity. The other one saying is play into the insanity. And I really liked Lady Gaga's performance as Harley Quinn, but as a story as a whole, I would say that this is really probably not what you're expecting. You know, they say in the trailer, they marketed this as a musical, and I guess you could say it's a musical, but I would use that term lightly, because even musicals usually have pretty good flow. Usually the point of a musical is that you have music to tell the story, or at the very least be a part of the story, if it's done right, of course. And in this case, I feel like I don't like to call it a musical, even though it kind of is, just because the music did not really complement the story, really. In fact, I found a lot of times the music actually interrupted the story, and the best parts of this film was when it was not in music format, and when it was just simply Arthur and Harley just, speaking. Their dialogue was very interesting. I even liked just seeing Arthur in the jail cell in Arkham Asylum, even just having to deal with the guards. I really liked the whole idea or concept of the Joker, which really is what this movie is really about the Joker being an idea, but at the same time they already did that in the first movie, so I feel like they almost undermined the first movie by sort of making that the main plot of this one as well, but then also combining, this new character, Harley Quinn. There was a lot that they did with that character that I feel like didn't make sense. Like, for example, she constantly has access to Arkham Asylum. She can sort of walk around freely, which I thought was very strange. Even in the comics, she was never like that. She is a psychiatrist in this film, or at least they allude to the idea that she studied psychiatry or psychology, but she's not really a psychiatrist like she is in the comics. I would say the best way to describe this movie is that this is a musical, sort of basically like a courtroom drama, if you even want to use that word, drama, and which uses characters of the name of Joker and Harley Quinn, but they're not really Joker and Harley Quinn, if that makes sense. They're not really the Joker that we know and love, and she's not really Harley Quinn that we know and love. Like, they're not really the actual characters that you would expect from the comics or from any other interpretation, really, or any form of entertainment. And I really feel like at the end of the day this movie was very unnecessary, and where the movie starts to where it finishes, Really nothing happens in between. The whole thing really, like I said, is just one big giant court case, and it just really felt like it was forced. I felt like this movie was made just because the studio made Todd Phillips do the movie. They're like, hey, the first one made $1 billion, now you must do a sequel, but you had to do something different. So he's like, well, let's turn it into a musical and add Harley Quinn. And unfortunately it just didn't work with the narrative. To me, really, this was just the same story as the first movie. It was just Arthur rediscovering himself and redefining himself as the Joker, while also stating that the Joker is bigger than Arthur himself and really becomes his big idea. But we already seen that in the first movie. And so Harley Quinn, as much as I loved seeing Lady Gaga portray Harley Quinn, I feel like all these characters were very underutilized, and not only underutilized, but even used poorly. I thought their performances were good, but the writing was terrible. So it had nothing to do with them being bad actors. It was just what they were given was just a garbage script. And so really, when you see Joker Folie Deux, you have to really just scratch your head and say, wow, like, I'm not going to get those 2 hours back in my life and whatnot. So it was very disappointing, and I do not think that, I wouldn't even categorize this as a sequel. I would almost consider this like an Elseworld story, even within its own Joker universe, you know, because even the first Joker is like an Elseworld. Well, I would say this is also an Elseworld, but also a standalone Elseworld, not even a continuation from the first movie, more so of just an Elseworld all to itself. It's almost like you could say that this is not the Joker 2, this is literally Joker Folie Deux, a completely different movie, just using the same actor, Joaquin Phoenix, to play the Joker, at least in my opinion. If I had to put a number on this one, I would give this one like a 50%. I don't hate it as much as what a lot of people do. I still thought there were elements of the movie that were good. The cinematography was awesome, the movie looks beautiful, and whatnot, and like the singing, obviously Lady Gaga is a great singer, but still a lot of it was just them singing songs that were already written. It wasn't all original music or anything like that. And I did find that once you got about an hour into the film, the music side of it really interrupted the story, and it really started to lose its consistency. Not so much, or its pacing, I guess is the right word to use, because just as you finally get into a scene and you're finally getting over the last bit of musical, and now you're getting back into the scene, and then they hit you with another song or another piece of musical and stuff. So it was I felt the story was very interrupted, and the musical aspect actually took away from the movie, as opposed to enhancing the movie. But not until after like the first hour. I thought the first couple songs actually did a great job. The first 40 to 50 minutes were actually really good, and the music did work, especially with Arthur in Arkham Asylum when he's singing the emotions that he's feeling here in the asylum, and it actually made sense. But then, like I said, once you got to like the courtroom and that kind of stuff, then it kind of just fell flat, and like I said, the movie really had no point. So I would give this one a 50%. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, it didn't do anything for me. It just made me feel like, okay, this is what it is, and I didn't get any feeling. I didn't hate it, I didn't like it, I didn't love it, I fell flat, just like the movie, I guess. I'm just neutral. It didn't do anything for me, and I probably will never watch it again, unless it's just to watch it with somebody else, just to see their reaction. But anyways, folks, that's my review of Joker Folie Deux. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen it, and if you'd like to tell me why or why not you like this video, click that subscribe button. Until the next one, take care.